My name is Fionn Scott. I'm the Mr. Leather Ireland 2019, elected as of January 2019 and handing it over in January 2020, which is a surprisingly short amount of time when I consider it that way, but you know, it's a year, so. You know, I mean, there's all this jokes about that, like the diets and shit like that, but let's not go into that and things, because that's body negativity. There's a lot around, you know, my favorite line was that arch your back, show your tits and say shit. Stand up on stage, present yourself to the best of that, but the main bit of actually is around, you know, doing the work in the community behind it, having a presence in the leather and fetish community, you know, really trying to work for a community and make sure that the representation is actually representing people who are members of the community as opposed to, you know, this one very much homogenized group. So a big thing behind the leather and fetish community in Ireland is actually it's a lot more diverse than we give it credit for. There's a lot more going on behind it, but the reality is that if it's not showcased, if it's not given the correct platform, it's not going to be seen. So a big part of that was the prep. Story time, ladies and gentlemen. No, the leather scene has a very rich and diverse history in terms of that sort of formalized setting behind it. You know, it was the reclamation of queerness. It was the reclamation of a subversive queer identity that was attempted to be sort of mashed out by society. It was that point where, you know, you could reclaim a space with its inherent deviance and sexuality and the nature behind it all and celebrate it in your own deviant kind of way. So, you know, insert whatever definition of deviance you like there. A big part of it though was, you know, nowadays as we've seen it sort of matriculate and change in society is that, you know, the queer identity is intrinsically linked to politicism and, you know, social change. So I don't think the leather community is very much disparately separate from that. It, you know, deviant sexuality comes in part and parcel to deviant political views, and deviance is where you can sit on the outside of society and force a bit of social change, hopefully for the positive. Disbelief. I think there's a lot of photos where I'm kind of, you know, looking into the middle distance, kind of going, oh, what is this? What's happened here? It was a really pleasant surprise. It was really, really lovely, and in a lot of ways, it was something I was very much hoping to achieve for I have a background in community development, youth work kind of things, so it was really nice to marry that, the fetish and the kink to the community work kind of things. But it was also definitely something I didn't take for granted in the sense that it's going to be a massive challenge for the year, even now in terms of setting out. Ireland has definitely changed. It's definitely become a lot more positive and accepting into things. But there's of course that element of, you know, how does deviance fit within Ireland? We definitely found that in terms of this changing social discourse. There's a lot on fitting into society, but how do we who sit outside of the fitting into society reclaim our own space and actually, you know, substantiate it? How do we make sure that we're using it to the best of our potential? How do we make sure that that is a space for social change as opposed to just sitting in the background being silent? A large portion of it is around the travel end of things, but in terms of travelling, representing the Irish community right there, so, you know, Bord Fáilte, if you want to get involved on this, I jest. But the big thing is around, you know, representing Ireland on the international platform and showcasing how the positive work that's been done in Ireland and what could go further in terms of that. Because God knows that there's a lot of situations where we can push social issues and human rights end of things forward. There's a lot of space for discussion around these things. And you know what, the Irish queer community has done so amazingly and have been so progressive so far. The wish to use that momentum is the big thing that powers on after this.